But if I said, yo, I'll pay you salary, 5K a week, direct deposit into your bank account from John Wetmore's bank account, no matter what I don't care what you sell, but you have to make 3,000 phone calls a week and you have to knock on 300 doors a week and you have to start at 5 a.m. But I'll put 5 G's a week into your bank account. No one's ever said no to even a quarter of that number.
Mhm.
But if I paid it guaranteed, people would do the activity.
I do want to say this. I know I appreciate you very much for joining us today because I know, you know, you had actually we spoke like last week because you had joined another separate like a private call where you were like a special guest speaker there
Yeah.
and you opened it up for questions. Obviously, you shed some insight on like the leadership questions that I had, and then here we are. So I think that today the theme of today's discussion, I want to like sort of keep it around like just super kind of basic, but
Yeah.
your insight on driving growth for leaders and agents and like bridging the gap between like both parties. But before we get into like questions, things like that, I kind of want to give everyone a little bit of background about yourself because like your story is extremely unique.
Yeah.
So correct me if I'm wrong, but you were in accounting and then you became an insurance founder and master. You began your professional journey as an accountant, and then you're crunching numbers around 2013, and then you fully pivoted into like FFL and building an agency around that time.
Yeah.
And then you were a solo producer for quite some time as well. So when
I
you
was a
went,
bum for a while too, to be clear.
yeah, yeah, we want to talk about that, what you said. I didn't say it, but that's
You
what you
don't have to.
said. Yeah.
I tell it for me.
Yes, sir. And then you became, so, I mean, you transitioned to life insurance, you became the number one producer in your agency, and then within a few years recruited enough agents to build systems. So that
Yeah.
way you could stop selling personally. And now your agency does well over 150 million a year in annual premium, and probably gonna end up doing 200 million here pretty soon. And now you're also a managing partner in integrity. And then last thing, I guess, from some of the things that I did some research on was like you have a very strong focus on mentorship, activity tracking, and psychology of growth. So you emphasize like mentoring agents, pushing them out of their comfort zones, and teaching them to think differently. So let me know if I missed anything there.
No, that's it. It's the quickest one you can give with I'm getting old, bro. I'm 48. I've had a lot go on in my life, you know. So yes, that's a good little summary. I have been with FFL since the day they opened the doors. I was with the same group at the prior company for like a little over a year
Hmm.
when I got into the business, part-time, like you said. And I've had all kinds of jobs, dude. I was an accountant most recent, not prior to this, like
Hmm.
crunching numbers, not a CPA. But
Hmm.
I've worked in warehouses, I've worked in restaurants, I've had 20 something jobs in my life, all kinds of different shit, at all different stages. Had kids young when I was 16 when I had my first kid. I have five now. Most of them or my oldest kids are older than most of the people on this damn Zoom at this stage. But yeah, dude, it's been a journey, man. Started out part time, just trying to figure life out, bro. Be able to pay the bills.
Yeah,
And then this turned into something crazy with a lot of help from a lot of people along the way.
no doubt, no doubt. And I
Yeah,
appreciate
get
you kind of
into
like humanizing like your background as well a little bit because like looking at you now and like what you've been able to accomplish over all this time is like, people are just, they look at people for who they are now rather than like
yeah.
what it took for you to be in the position you are now in today. So like, I know we have many people in this organization, including myself too. Like first job I ever got was like working under the table at a restaurant at 14 years old. So like
Yeah.
I understand that, but like, it's a beautiful thing to see. Now, I want to ask you sort of like starting it off with like the leadership side of things and sort of the building sort of
Yeah.
aspects. So we actually just had like a lock-in trip
Yeah.
as an organization last month. It was like for 3 days. It was a great time for us to be able to get together. We just opened the doors for an office in Salt Lake City, Utah.
Yeah.
It was actually the old Integrity office. I don't know if you're familiar with that
Yeah.
office, but
Yeah.
yeah. So we had everyone come over there, and but the thing is that office is relatively empty right now,
Yep.
and we want to be able to like, fill that office up while also maintaining our virtual infrastructure. Now, do you have like, is most organization office spaces, or are you guys doing
It's
like
changed a lot over the years, dude. I mean, I'm almost 15 years in this business.
yeah.
Virtual wasn't even a conversation for the first 10. Like,
Mhm.
didn't even get talked about till probably, I don't know, 2018, 2019. They started having e-apps and shit, something like that.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, and relative to my office, 100% of my agency is virtual. We have no one in my offices today is just my staff. But it didn't start out that way. I couldn't have built what I have if I didn't have an office infrastructure.
Mhm.
And the teams that are growing the fastest, not only in our company, but in all of FFL, are teams that have offices and they sell virtually,
Mhm.
but they're together in a spot.
Mm.
Those groups are killing it, dude. Um, because you can attack the business differently. You can challenge people, like meaning when you talk about leadership, when we had when I was building it early and I was still in the field, especially, I'd be the first one in the office on the phones every day.
Yeah.
So it was like it was hard for people to complain they couldn't make money when I was there an hour, 2 hours, 3 hours, 4 hours, hell, sometimes a full day before people roll out of bed and get to work. And then I was often there late because I was also helping agents get started and get paid and teaching them and bringing people in to recruit and do interviews. And then I'm doing my Zoom calls and team train. I'm doing all kinds of shit.
Mhm.
So yeah, for me, part of the leadership, I learned this, dude. My biggest mentor, his name was Mike. I was very fortunate to work side by side with him, and he worked right hand to Sean.
Mhm.
Sean Mike started the company. Mike Killamet was like his right hand guy, and I worked directly with Mike.
Mhm.
So I got to watch Sean train him. And I've certainly had plenty of opportunities to work directly with Sean over the years, but Mike was his guy. And as we built the company, I learned this statement Mike used to always tell me, man, because I used to get frustrated trying to build.
Mhm.
And I would get confused why people didn't do the things I was doing. And then
Right.
even more so, why they didn't do the shit they said they would do.
Mhm.
Or we talk about stuff in a training or an event like this, and then the next time they pick up the phone, they don't fucking do it still. And
Yeah. Yeah.
dude, you know what to do when you don't do it still. And I
Yeah.
would I would get frustrated and I would want to take like not only my head, but their head and bang them against that brick wall behind you.
Mhm.
And I would get irritated.
Mhm.
And I'm like, dude, the guy says he wants to, I'm trying to make him go, he's this and potential, and he's all these things. And I would throw up.
Mhm.
And he would always go, bro, how many times I got to tell you? Leadership is taken, not given.
Mm.
You ain't gonna bless nobody as your next leader, bro. If you go to work, he goes, did I ever do anything? Did I come to your house and tap you on the head with a magic wand and pick you? I was like, nah. He's like, what happened? I'm like, I was fucking tired, dude. So I changed everything. He goes, exactly. Me too. He goes, if you think you're gonna change all these people, buckle up. It's gonna be a bumpy ride.
Mhm.
And so I learned there has to be this balance between like everyone wants your time, especially in the moment when they want it. Right? I had a
Right.
new agent come to me yesterday on Discord. Ain't heard from her. I hired her in like March. She sent me a text maybe in June and was like, "Hey, where's that training again?" And then she texted me last night and asked me for something else. And I'm like, dude, you've been around twice in 7 months.
Mhm.
And now this is urgent. Right.
Mhm.
And I used to not know how to handle those things.
Mhm.
So it's like this weird balance, dude, that I learned that you have to be the leader you want other people to be first.
Mhm.
And you go get it and you go make the money and you prove how it works and you prove you go through the hard times and the struggle and the all the shit we all go through.
Right.
It's like I think some people look at it and they think we don't have to make an ass ton of phone calls and we
Yeah.
don't get hung up on and we don't get yelled at and we don't get told to F off and we don't buy leads with wrong numbers and you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
think
Yeah.
some people
Yeah.
think that shit goes away,
Yeah. Yeah. Like we're special or
right?
something.
And so he taught me to go like, all right, why don't you just be really open about what the business is?
Mhm.
Right? And you can see, dude, if you have 10 of us on here that do really well, all 10 of us do things slightly differently. But
Mhm.
a lot of the core is the same,
Mhm.
right? And so for me, he was like, dude, why don't you just go be you, produce at a high level, change your family's life first.
Mhm.
While you're hiring, you can keep hiring during, but you're letting these new people slow you down.
Mhm.
and they ain't doing shit, bro. They just say they're going to do stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So he taught me to pay attention, be really direct about what it takes. Just tell them what I'm doing to make money. Here's what I do to make a living.
Mm-hmm.
I'm doing it. Here's how I do it. Here's when I call. Here's how the leads I buy. Here's how many calls. Here's what I spend. All the jazz. And if you want to do it, follow me. Just copy me.
Mm-hmm.
And you'll find that most people won't put action behind it. And he started saying, when you do the action and you tell them to follow you, all you have to do is watch. And if you just watch the people who put action behind their words, those are the ones that you go like, hey, come over here. And then I started fine tuning and tweaking things,
Mm-hmm.
you know? And it's, I come up with this thought for me. If I go take anybody, you could do it right now. Anybody in here that's hiring at all.
Mm-hmm.
If you think about everybody in your group and I asked you, and you don't have to say the name, I want you to say the name to yourself.
Mm-hmm.
I want you to tell me the very first name that comes to your mind, when I say of all the people in your group that you work with today, who stands out the most? Everyone has a name like this.
Mm-hmm.
That's my first person.
Mm-hmm.
And I dive into trying to help them grow as a leader the same way I grew as a leader.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And I can go, hey, and I try to identify like that, dude. It's like who stands out from the crowd. And I could dive into this for 80 hours. So that's a small fraction of answering your question is the leadership is taken, not given. So I try to pay attention to who's taking it, who's going out of their way, and who stands out from the crowd. Because the reality is 90+% of the people on the Zoom do all the same shit.
Mm-hmm.
There's that 5 or 10% that stand out from the rest, and they're really easy to mold and adjust and make tweaks to. They tend to be the most coachable. They tend to be grateful. They tend to work hard. They tend to have thicker skin. You know what I mean? All the things that we try to give people.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
Yeah. You touched on a very like big mistake that I feel like a lot of the new generation, leaders, including myself, I'm gonna take 100% accountability for this.
sure.
Like, I came from like, C-level corporate, went captive, came on the brokerage side at a very young age. I mean, I'm 24, but it's crazy. It's still humbling for me to see like people who are like in their like early 20s, like 21, 22, who are like doing insane numbers at
Yeah.
that age too.
Yeah.
And I'm just not trying to find traction. But I think one of the biggest mistakes even I made, and a few other leaders, sometimes even within our organization, are making now, is that, I took a lot of time coming into the brokerage side, like trying to build out the infrastructural pieces, which yes, like it,
Yeah.
it
Oh,
helped
yeah.
benefit our organization. Like, I put
Sure.
together an insane amount of SOPs and, focus on building out training protocols and, so,
Yeah.
supporting leaders and then agents and not really producing myself,
Yeah.
right? And it really hurt me because like I was not in the financial position to be able to do that, nor was my team producing at a high enough level for me to be able to like support myself. Right. But I was just doing it to like make their lives easier and then obviously make my leaders' online's lives easier as well. But I learned very quickly some of what you said that like I did it for like 3, 4, 5 months and then I was like, holy hell, look at my bank
Let
account. I
me,
didn't have a phone. It's like,
yeah, this is one of my favorite topics, dude.
yeah,
And I'll tell you why. Not to cut you off, but I want to touch on this piece because it's like systems and infrastructure help a lot,
yeah,
certainly,
yeah,
right? Process, CRMs,
yeah,
all the shit people want
yeah, yeah.
certainly helps,
Mhm.
depending on when you try to use it, right?
Mm,
So here's a thought I like to help people understand first before I get into why because I'm a big nerd with automations and systems. I'm a complete nerd.
yeah.
But if you have you read so I wrote a book, for those that don't know, I wrote a book on it, and this isn't to promote the book. It's fucking $12. Don't buy it. Google it. Any video I have says the same thing. It's not a plug. Other than the title of it is Do More Now, Get Better Later. And that's on purpose for me. Because I'm a very analytical person by nature. I am an accountant. I overthink things. I'm the dude that if you say something to me, I'm gonna analyze 17 ways you could have meant it, right? And I'm gonna get myself worked up. I'm naturally that person. And so when I was trying to get started in this space, dude, the accountant in me kind of came out. The over analytical in me came out. I wanted to understand everything about every objection and every product and I wanted to know all the stuff.
Mhm.
And this is why I say the timing of it, because it's not bad to know all the stuff, but I wasn't taking the knowledge and combining it with the activity. And as my mentor, Mike Killamet, used to say, you don't want to be an educated broke person.
Yeah.
right? And there's a lot of people who are educated as shit on the things and they don't do anything. And that was me, right? And I want to preface this for the fifth time. Any of this I say, I'm not saying don't study and don't learn your craft, new people. I'm not saying don't teach your people stuff. I want you to grasp that first. But when I was looking at this thing, I knew I sold a certain amount of insurance. I sold at a mediocre level at best, right? And I've done this for 12 plus years now in this way. Again, 15 in the business, first few I dicked around, but for the last 12 plus years, man, every single person that I've seen that struggles financially in our space, if I look at their lead flow, how well they manage money, and their activity, specifically when it comes to prospecting time. When you have low money, I promise you, those other three things suck. There's no one I've ever spoken to in 15 years doing this that's like, I spend 3 grand a week on leads and I see 60 people a week and I make no money. That doesn't ever come out of anyone's mouth. It's always, I don't have the money for leads. Nobody picked up. The leads were trash. Whatever the excuses are, they are. Right. And there's a big disparity between a guy like Harold, who I saw on here, and a new guy getting started, and they can't figure out why. Right. And I was that guy. And so when I started trying to really research why, thank God I had someone I met at a convention. It was FFL's first convention, 2015. And I had been around for a couple of years. Again, I'm a 10, 12, 14K a month kind of guy at the time. And I can't figure out how to crack 20K. And I will tell you this, if you aren't issuing 20K a month minimum, I promise you have no money, especially if you have a family. If you're 21 and living in mom's basement, maybe you got a few bucks. You know what I'm saying? But an average adult with a real family can't live on that kind of number, typically. So I'm looking at the stuff, and this cat on stage was selling, and this is in times of, again, about 10 years ago, direct mail, in-home only. And no one was doing this shit at a high level like you hear today. There was only 2 people that year that sold over 400 grand, and he was one of them. And so I go to stage, I try to crack it, and he's going, dude, it's leads and appointments, bro. Didn't you just hear me talk? It's leads and appointments. I'm like, yeah, I know, but what kind of leads? What time do you call them? Do you use the same area code? And I'm asking all these analytical questions. And he goes, dude, how many appointments do you run? I was like, I don't know, like 10 or 12 a week. And he laughed in my face, literally laughed in my face at me. And he said, I got a question for you, dude. He goes, why do you expect my result with your work ethic?
Mm. Mm.
And I was like, good question. I didn't know I was doing that. What do you mean? And he's like, well, here's how many appointments I run, bro. That's cute. My kindergarten son could do that. And I really started looking at it, doing, and I analyzed my first year. The accountant in me came, and I started looking at my numbers, right? And I looked at 2014. I issued like 170 grand that year. I brought home maybe like a $110 or whatever. After leads, I netted probably 80. And I'm looking at all my numbers, and I do about, and this is what I talk about in the book, right? I'm looking at all my numbers. I'm nerding out about it. And I figure out on the appointments I'm running, if you do the number of appointments I said into the issue paid, I went and I did an average. And the average came out to be, I issued $300 every time I booked an appointment. So if I booked an appointment, if I added all my total appointments for the year, and I looked at my deposits for the year, which is after chargebacks, after all the bullshit, after everything, deposits, total appointments ran, I divided one into the other, and it was $300. So for the year I did mediocre, every time I booked an appointment, I issued $300. I was like, huh, who the fuck would have thought that? Right. And I didn't, that it never had clicked to, and I also, then I looked at my average per phone call. And that's what one of the titles of the chapter is called 17, the number that changed my life. I added up my phone calls and then I looked at my deposits. And when I did the math, again, I only made 80 grand that year net, but it was $17 every time I made a phone call is what the number equaled. Phone call, deposit. I was making $17 every time I called someone, even if they told me to fuck off. Because it was just activity, money. It was all the shit in the middle I didn't like. When I realized one piece of activity equals X number of pennies or dollars, dude, I was like, yo, what if I just go do more now and just worry about all the getting better shit later? Just what if? What if I try it? And that year I changed everything I did. And this is in home. I used to actually, funny enough, you mentioned Utah. I used to fly to Utah to sell for a hot minute just for fun because I was trying to build out there.
Yeah, yeah.
But I started running 30 in-home presentations a week, which is, again, the equivalent of telesales today, 50, 60,
Mhm.
right? So I started doing 30 a week in-home field sales. Long story short, the rest of that year, I ended up issuing 468K on my own pen.
Wow.
In the remainder of 2015, hit Hall of Fame. I was number 4 in the company, repeated that in 2017. And then by 17, dude, that one change, I had really no team in 15. It was me and a couple agents, one or two people that sold like 3 grand a month.
Mhm.
By 2017, I got out of the field and I was knocking back over 100 grand a month
Mhm.
overrides just
Mhm.
because of one change from me just going like, fuck it, let me just go to work
Right.
and just accept who I was. I accepted my close ratio, which at the time was like 25%, dude.
Mhm.
I accepted my no-show rate, which at the time was like 50% were no-showing me. I just accepted it all. I was like, fuck it, here's who I am.
Right.
Let me just go to work.
Yeah.
Because I always tell people, dude, anyone on here that's broke as shit, that knows they don't do the work. There's someone in here that knows. They know they don't work enough. They know they get stressed on the phone. They're intimidated. They're afraid to pick it up. They're afraid of the no's and the cancels and the chargebacks. There's someone on here. There's probably multiple. But if I said, yo, I'll pay you salary, 5K a week, direct deposit into your bank account from John Wetmore's bank account, no matter what I don't care what you sell, but you have to make 3,000 phone calls a week and you have to knock on 300 doors a week. And you have to start at 5 a.m. But I'll put 5 G's a week into your bank account. No one's ever said no to even a quarter of that number.
Mhm.
But if I paid it guaranteed, people would do the activity.
Mhm.
And I'm like, why the faith when I pay it,
Mhm.
but not the faith when we tell you it will work?
Mhm. Mhm.
You know what I mean? And so I just
Yeah.
started challenging people, dude, to have the same mindset that I know we need to train.
Yeah.
But right now, you need fucking like 30, 40 appointments if you don't have them.
Mhm.
Let's do that first,
Yeah.
and it just became an approach for me, dude.
Yeah.
And it worked for me. And again, I did what I didn't realize is like, because I started running, 2.5 times to a couple, call it double the appointments, but my income tripled, right? And what I didn't account for was momentum.
Mhm.
I didn't understand it like I do now. Momentum's fucking real in this space, dude. Whether you have it or you've lost it and you can't get it. They're two very different feelings. One's amazing and one sucks ass. And it's hard to get into the good one when you're in the bad one. And the speed in which my skill set increased because I was seeing so many people so fast.
Mhm.
You just keep getting the same thing over and over again. So
Mhm.
then I was like, oh, now the training made a lot more sense because I was then able to apply it real time to the situations I was training on.
Mhm.
Whereas when I was running 10, 12 a week, dude, sometimes I go a day or two without even presenting to someone.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? Your skill set gets really weak.
Yes. Yes.
And that became the model, dude. Just a blue collar guy who's willing to work his face off. You don't got to be the number one. I'm not the best sales guy at all. I don't even pretend to be.
Mhm.
But bro, I'll start earlier and I'll finish later.
Yeah, that's for sure. I heard you. I mean, I think you explained that to us last time too. Like you're back on the phones just to show people like that it's real. Like I heard, and
Yeah.
you're doing it in such an interesting caveman way.
Yeah, look at this shit.
Caveman, look
This
at
is
this.
I don't even know how to use this goes to the whole CRM thing. Like what I do with agents is I'm like, dude, just get a blank piece of paper and scribble your appointments down on a piece of paper with a pen.
Yeah,
And then when you want to track your dials, just do this. Just just do a little check mark.
crazy, crazy.
Like,
150 agency
and
owner.
I know how to use a CRM. I'm
Yeah,
a go high level nerd.
yeah.
But you know what I know? Steve, who starts this week, that thinks the CRM is the magic,
Mhm,
and he doesn't know how to use one, and he doesn't know why it does what it does.
mhm.
And this is what I want to rewind what I was going to say earlier. How long do you know how long people have been selling life insurance?
Early 1900s.
Way early, yeah, way earlier than that, to be clear. And if you read about the history of it, if you get like Bible-ish
Yeah.
going, there's instances of it hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of years ago. But yes, like Jennifer said, it's 200 plus years, a pretty mainstream, our version of insurance. It's been around a couple hundred years.
Mhm,
This industry has been making people filthy rich for well over 100 years.
mhm,
Filthy rich, everyday salespeople. Filthy rich salespeople, not just the companies. Salespeople have been getting rich, filthy rich in our industry for 100 years. 50s, A.L. Williams, Primerica, all those companies starting. Do you know what they had for technology?
Piece of paper and pen.
Bro, we didn't even have the internet till 20 something years ago.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
There was no phones. I don't know when the phone got invented, but I sure as shit know there weren't leads.
Yeah,
They had no leads. There was no Facebook. There was no inbound calls. There were no CRMs. There was nothing.
yeah.
And these people went out and got wealthy in our space with nothing, knocking on doors. People used to have to go collect fucking checks in person every week. You know what I
Insane.
mean? So,
Yeah.
meaning the history of this industry shows there's massive wealth able to be built in it just by talking to human beings who need life insurance, period.
Hmm.
All the other stuff is like the cherry on top for me.
Hmm.
So I try to teach people to what matters most, which is lead flow and activity and training. Lead flow, activity, training. If you don't have those down, nothing else matters.
Yeah.
So it's like, let's do those first. That way, when we get into the technical stuff, at least you know why it's doing it, what it's doing. Now, I'll preface some new agents can walk into a system that's already running in full play. They sit down at a desk and start taking calls. Keep doing it. I'm not saying change that shit.
Hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
That works
But
out.
but that's not most agents what they're walking into.
No doubt.
And so for me, dude, when I want to teach duplicatable, when I want to scale, I want to teach duplicatable,
Hmm.
right? And picking up your cell phone and writing down with a pen and a piece of paper is by far more duplicatable than paying someone to put together your CRM and run all these campaigns and do. And again, I know they work, but Joe, who's just trying to buy groceries next week and pay his mortgage, he don't give a shit about that. He wants to get paid.
Hmm.
Right? So a lot of what I try to do, man, is move all the noise for people and teach a really simple way to get paid. And then we add those pieces with time.
Hmm. Hmm.
I'm not teaching someone to be a, black belt the
Yeah.
first month.
Yeah. Yeah. No doubt.
So I don't
I
know.
also, so no, I appreciate these insights. But tying it back to like the original question, because like I really want to figure, I'm trying to figure this out. I want to shift into like some other questions like agent
Yeah.
focusing. So there's like in this office, right? There's like 500 plus seats, I think,
Yeah.
right, in this floor.
Yeah.
It's a dead zone. There's like a few other agencies that are there as well, but I guess the agency that brings in the most amount of people is going to be able to keep that office, right?
Yep.
Have the most level of impact,
Yeah.
whoever they can get to. And like Utah is very untapped, right? There's not that many
Oh, yeah,
people
it is, dude.
who
That's a
are in our
gold
space.
mine out there.
Yeah, but they're trying to get in our space. So my question to you is like, how would John Wetmore fill up that office as fast as possible? Because you said from 2015
Yeah. Who's going to be
you're
there running? Are you going to be physically there?
yeah, well, I'd be there, and then we have a few other people, other
So
leaders
I
around.
would go like this. I'd go, hey, who in here really wants to make real fucking money? Like, who wants to get like FU paid? Who's crazy? Who will do anything it takes to win?
I'm saying like not in an organization, but just like recruiting
Yeah,
wise.
I would start there. I'm saying I
Okay.
would start in your organization and I go, who? Here's the plan. Here's the vision. Here's what we want to do in Utah. Here's what we want to accomplish. We want to have, because, right, you want excitement. You want people there. You want it full of sales. You want energy there. You want young hustlers, people. You want people making a good living there. There's some people in here crazy enough to go with you, to be clear, if you just ask and they believe in you. So I
Mhm.
start there always. Anything I do with my team when I have the base, because I know I can't do it alone. That's the one thing I know, dude. I get some credit. I'm sure my name's at the top, dude. We have such good people in our fucking group that I'm not here having this conversation without them. And so for you to grow to the next level, you ain't doing it without a gang of other people. There's no way. There's no way possible.
Mhm.
Right. And so I go, who wants to be part of this? Because 10 years ago, 15 years ago, when Sean did that shit, I was like, me, I'm in. Anything you need, I'll go. I'm in. Bro, I used to fly to Atlanta on Sunday. I would start booking appointments in my house. I would go to the airport in Atlanta, finish booking up in the Atlanta airport while I was waiting for my flight. I'd fly to Salt Lake City, finish dialing Sunday night in Salt Lake City. I'd run Monday through Thursday up in Salt Lake, Utah, Davis, and Weber counties.
Mhm.
And I stayed in Park City because they had this
No.
ski lodge place that I used
Yeah,
to
yeah,
stay
yeah.
at.
Beautiful.
There's
Yeah.
6 steam shower in my room. It was great.
Yeah.
Nice steakhouse down the bottom. So after I'd run, I'd go get a nice steak with crab on top. And you know what I mean? Like it was, I treated myself.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I'd run Monday through Friday up there. I'd sell, recruit while I was there, drive down to St. George. I'd sell Friday in St. George. Friday night, I'd drive to Vegas and take a red eye home and get home Saturday morning in Atlanta.
Hmm.
Right. And then when I had other people that I was trying to build in South Carolina, Utah, and Ohio at the same time.
Hmm.
Okay. So I was traveling. We had a little office in South Carolina. I was trying for Ohio and Salt Lake City. So one day I'm traveling to Salt Lake City and I travel to Ohio, same concept to sell. One day I do exactly what I just tell you. I go, hey, here's what I'm trying to do in Ohio. Who wants it? I have lead flow. I'll help you build an office. I'll help you build the culture. I'll fly up there and do it. I need someone to own that spot. I'm one guy. You know who that dude was that said me? Do you know who it was? Zach Twardowski.
Oh, that's crazy.
He said, I'll do it.
This is
I'm
the
in.
Lord.
I'll go.
Yeah.
And so he started going to Ohio. He was in Colorado. He
Yeah.
moved to Charleston, South Carolina to sell there in that office first.
Uh-huh.
And then when I was like, yo, we got Ohio, he was like, fuck it, I'll go. So Zach took over Ohio. He actually moved back to Colorado. And him and I would fly to Ohio and we built that area. One of his biggest groups is out of that, started out of that Ohio area
Uh-huh.
from doing that. And then if you notice, he did the same thing. He's now moved and he built his office in Austin.
Yes. Yes.
He took the same concept and then him and like
Finally.
all his crew down there. If I start naming them, I'll get in trouble because there's too many of them. But that whole crew down there took the same concept. So what I'm telling you is, I would ask who wants to be part of it. It'd be weird if you had no one.
Hmm.
And all we did was we started mass recruiting there. We started promoting it on social. We started doing like uh, what do you call them? Like where you kind of show the plan or opportunity meetings or whatever you want to call them. Y'all do a lot of lock-ins, shit like that. But we would then have everyone in the group, even if they didn't come out there with us. We're like, yo, we're hiring out there. If you run ads and you push people to our meeting, we'll hire them for you. And so you got, at the time, last time I looked, 60, 70 people, 100 people in here. Imagine you get 110 people to go, hey, run an ad in Salt Lake City for our new office. And 110 people are promoting and doing stories and doing social about all this stuff that's happening. And then you start making sales and everybody in your group sharing them and posting them and putting them out there. Look at the new office. Oh, if you watch like what Ronnie Salem and them are doing, the stuff
Dude.
like,
Oh my God. Crazy.
you
Yeah.
know, it's the
Exactly.
same concept.
Yeah.
And that all started back when we started getting offices back in the day, dude, when this company was no company, there was no company when we got our office. We
Yeah.
just did it, and with time, dude, it became by far the most valuable thing we did in pre telesales. Everyone copied our model with the office.
Hmm.
The Monday, Thursday dial, run Tuesday, Wednesday, Friday, Saturday. We built that in Atlanta. Then it changed to telesales. Everyone went home. And then in the last 2 years, people were like, what if we do the hybrid where it's office, but we sell remotely?
Yes.
That's
Yes.
been lights out for people.
Yeah.
It's just lights out for people, dude. And it's so easy to do,
Yeah.
you know? So hopefully that answers it the way
No,
I
it
would do it.
does. It does, man. It does. It does.
You got to sell the vision. You
Yeah.
have to sell the dream to your people because you need, again, I'll say it 100 times. Any of you trying to build with time, you need help.
Yes.
But don't let that limit you in the sense that I don't have the help, so I can't build. No, no, no. You do have the help. It's the people up here that
Yeah.
say they're going to help you. You're
Yeah.
going to help them. I'm sure you have other leaders.
Yes. No doubt.
I had new agents that wanted to build. I'm like, nah, you hire them and get out of the way. I'll train
Yeah. Yeah.
them.
Yeah.
And that's a big part of how we grew. And then we just started copy and pasting that. And eventually we had offices and staff all over the country because other people would just duplicate our model because it worked.
Right. Right. How many offices do you guys have now, if you don't mind me asking?
Dude, I can't even. Again, me physically, at one point, I owned five
Ah, okay.
personally because I would buy the real estate.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I'm saying buy the real estate, and then we would have agents rent space.
Yeah. Yeah.
I didn't make a killing on it, but I didn't lose money, and I built equity, and I had the asset and all that shit. So yeah, we made it a side business, and then for me, when Integrity acquired my agency, my real estate was owned in another entity.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I still own the real estate that Integrity pays rent to.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Oh, that's insane how that works. Very good. Okay. I appreciate that because I think that's like the biggest thing that's like on the forefront of like my mind. And I know we've been virtually with the
There you
whole
go. Brian said the
contract.
first policy sold in 1583. There you go.
Yeah, he asked ChatGPT real quick. Very good. Now I also want to ask you this. So a lot of so agencies obviously hit walls. People hit walls at a certain point.
Yeah.
I'm sure like even in your time of like, doing all the activity, gaining the momentum, you talked about, fall off, things like that. Whether it's like recruiting, production, leadership development, what did your plateau look like? And then what practical shifts
Yeah.
did help you break through that?
I've had a few of them, dude, to be honest.
Yeah.
And in some ways, I can even tell you how I'm at one now in the
Mm,
weirdest dynamic ever.
let's talk about that.
But I would say that in 2018 we hit a pretty plateau. We were doing about 800 grand at the beginning of the month, at the beginning of the 800 grand a month at the
Uh-huh.
beginning of the year.
Uh-huh.
At the end of the year, I was doing like 850, dude. We weren't doing shit. It was a very flat year.
Mm,
Um, and I ended that year. I missed Agency Hall of Fame by like 20 grand for the year. I ended at like 9,950 something thousand, some stupid number. And remember, I told you I got out of the field in 2017.
mhm.
So I didn't run it all in 2017. I didn't run it all in 2018. And I was living good, dude. We were flat, but I was printing money. I made 2018, dude. I made fucking $2 million,
Mhm.
but we were flat.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? And I'm like, what's going on? Like, what the fuck? And it was a weird stage at that time. That's when Facebook leads just came out. They were new.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
It was a new thing to the market. Before that, it was all direct mail or straight internet leads. And we were getting a lot of like pushback because it was new. People didn't understand how to approach a Facebook social type lead. And I had people struggling, and I'm like, dude, it's just an objection. It's leads, it's activity, and I'm all the normal things we say. And I had a few people like pop off at me that would go, how do you know? You ain't never run them. You ain't been to the field in 2 years. How do you know?
Mhm.
Just a couple assholes would challenge me every once in a while. And I was like, one day I got pissed off, dude. And I called my buddy who made leads for the group at the time. And I'm like, yo, give me some leads.
Mhm.
And I ordered leads on a Saturday night. I was back in the field on a Monday morning. I issued like 20 grand in like 3 weeks on Facebook leads. First time I ever called them. And I was running, it was straight final expense. And I was home every day. I just to prove a point, I was home every day by 6 p.m. I started at 8 a.m. and I'd be home by 6. I only ran during the
So,
first part of the day. And just that little 3 week period in 2019, remember I told you December 2018, we did like 850. By the end of 2019, I was doing 2.5 million as a group, and that's when I signed with Integrity.
mm, a
Just
month.
from me going out there and showing something new and scary and the unknown could be done.
Mm,
Right. And so if I fast forward that to today, you're like, what's that? Where are you off today? Dude, our agency is like stacked full of talent
mm,
and a couple handfuls of integrity partners.
mm,
Dude, just being as honest as I could be, I could quit today or get fired today, and my agency wouldn't change. It would run perfect. It would run completely fine without me, which is good and bad,
right,
right?
right,
It's
right,
like, all right, what fucking value do you add? That could be a question.
right.
So I decided a few months ago we're going to start building a new base shop, base shop, direct to me,
Mm,
right? I have no leaders. I have no one who sells 40K a month. I have no one who manages shit. I have no one who's great at product. I have no one who knows nothing.
mm,
I've never sold over the phone
mm,
full time. There are a few back in the day when it first became a thing because you could sign by like DocuSign and shit. Americo came out with their e-app whenever they did. So I, again, sold a few. But I'm also like, this ain't that deep, dude. It's
mm,
fucking people. They don't have insurance. There's people everywhere all over the country doing it. There's no way anyone can't do this if you put in the work.
mhm.
And it is different. I'm not confused. It's different than in-home.
Right.
But at the same time, some people are like, how do you know? You ain't never done it. How do
Right.
you know? You ain't. So I was like, all right, well, fuck y'all. So a couple weeks ago, I'm like, give me leads. So I went and did all my little appointments. Da, da, da. I scheduled on top of my all the other shit I got going on. I scheduled like 30, I think the number was 30. I scheduled 32 appointments virtually. I did 1,177 phone calls this week, 49 pickups, 32 appointments. I wrote 6 apps for $9,400.
Phew.
Dude, I don't even know where the buttons are. I don't know. I had to get my team to teach me how to log in. I've never been on one of the e-apps. I don't know who takes a text signature versus an email signature versus I don't know any of that shit. And I wrote $9,400 this week, and I don't know what the fuck I'm doing.
Not bad, Mr. Wetmore.
And it's just to show like these new agents, like it's activity. I made more phone calls than almost every new agent in my group this week. You know what I mean? And I'm like, and I didn't work that hard.
Yeah.
So when I feel like there's a plateau, I do something crazy.
Uh-huh.
And I go, fuck it, watch. And then other people go, why are you selling? Why are you this? Why? Oh my God. And I'm like, so you can't bitch. That's why.
Mhm.
Because I want to show you that even me, I don't, dude, you know how many things I don't know today? And to get on the phones because I'm supposed to be an expert.
Mhm.
According to y'all. Does it make sense? And I do. There's some things I'm really good at. But dude, what happens when an e-app gets stuck? I don't know. I ain't never done one. I have no idea. What happens when it doesn't validate their fucking ID in their bank? I don't know. I don't know. I've never done that.
Mhm.
So meaning for those of you that have fears, I'm like, you not think we have fears? I have fears every day because I don't know how to get to, we've done over 200 million in the last 2 years. We'll hit it this year too. We're at 160 so far for the year. I don't know how to get to 300 million yet. I don't know how. If I knew how, I'd have done it last year. I'm unsure how to get to, no different than Sean's unsure how to get to 1 billion. We've been trying. We haven't got there yet. We're close. You know what I mean? And I only say that to give people hope that like all of us are scared
Mhm.
at all different points. Even those of us that are making money and it's not, I'm not scared that I can't pay my electric bill anymore.
Mhm.
But dude, I don't want this shit to go away.
Mhm.
I don't want to stop being able to help people at a high level.
Mhm.
I like my agents and my team and people around me being rich. It's better. You know what I'm saying? And so I don't know. For me, plateaus and leadership starts by looking in the mirror, dude, and doing something fucking crazy. If you want people to do crazy, you got to do crazy.
Mhm.
So that's how I go about it.
And that's
Sean
what
my approach.
Sean said. Yeah, exactly what Sean does. Sean said exactly that. He's like, the best way to like, figure out if you're hitting it, like if you have problems in life or something. I'm doing a very bad job. I'm butchering the way he explained it. But he said just go grab a mirror and look down and just stare at yourself
Yeah,
for
it's
like a
true.
while.
And again, I could give all kinds of reasons why I'm doing fine, but I'm like, I don't know, we could be doing better.
Yeah,
You
always.
know, and in the big scheme of the world,
Hmm.
200 million sounds dope.
Hmm.
So you realize integrity as a whole does, I don't know, someone can Google how much insurance is sold in the year of a year. Trillions,
Yeah.
right? Integrity's number, last I heard, was 25 billion a couple years ago. Dude, my number is a rounding error to other human beings in our space.
Yeah.
Brian Adams, who owns Integrity, if y'all don't know, he's one of the co-founders of Integrity. He recruited Sean Mike.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, and Patrick Bet David and many others. You know what I mean? And what I've learned, dude, the better I do in this space, the more money I make, the higher up I go, the more I realize how little I'm doing.
Hmm.
It's the weirdest dynamic ever.
Yeah.
You
Levels, man.
know, I just challenge people who are struggling to go out there and do something crazy for your family. Go see. I know it sounds hard and sounds impossible, but if you literally don't hang up the fucking phone all day long for 7 days straight, there's no way you don't sell a bunch of insurance.
Hmm.
I promise you, we're not that good. And anyone that says they are, I'm telling you, they're lying to you. Do we work hard? Yes. Do we learn what to say? Yes. Do we acquire a skill set? Yes. Do we have strategy? Yes. All that comes with time and reps. There's no one on stage that's saying anything other than I worked my face off
Hmm.
as the driver of all of it.
Hmm.
You know, all the other stuff doesn't matter if you don't have the work ethic piece down. And to have the work ethic down, you have to have lead flow down.
No doubt.
Because you can have all the willingness in the world. If you can't figure out how to get enough people to talk to every day, this business sucks.
No doubt. I'm with you. I want to shift it to like more like on a personal side for you, right? Like you accomplished a great deal in your time and you've mastered recruiting, culture at scale. What's the next level of leadership, you're personally working on for yourself, like either in yourself or in your organization? And then, how should smaller agencies start preparing for that stage that you're in right now?
It's a good question, dude. Um, Been interesting to try to figure out, man, because during the entire ride, like the stage you're at, you have a lot of people that are at that level trying to kill it to the next level with you, right? And so I always had like a lot of running buddies, and we would challenge each other to hit new heights. And that was a big part of being able to do this consistently is having other people in the company that are also driving towards the same goal. And so as we hit roadblocks, we can share them, right? Because we tend to hit them all at different times. So if I look at like the OGs of FFL, they've been here forever, all the, Zachs and Grady's and Andrews and everybody has been around forever. Over the last 12, 10, 8, 10, 12 years, depending on who I'm talking about, we've had a lot of conversations about business and growth over the years that changes.
Mm-hmm.
And so for me, what I found is more important for me to find people to run with. And
Mm-hmm.
as it grows, there's less and less of them.
Mm-hmm.
So my personal world right now is a struggle on like, yo, who do I run with every day?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I don't have that today. My guy that mentored me forever retired.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, all right, he retired. Fuck. Who do I lean on every day? I'm in a weird spot. I don't have that person in my life today necessarily. Does that make sense? So I'm
Yeah,
trying to figure that piece out.
you want to go, yeah.
Yeah, because I've always had a guy that I'm my
Yes.
entire
Yeah.
career. Been like, yo, Mike, what do I do? Hey, dude, what do I do? Now something happens. I'm like, fuck, what do we do?
Yeah.
Shit. I don't know what to fucking do. Right. So I'm going through a phase in my life where I'm trying to find someone to tie into in my business world because I don't have that today like I've had it for my entire career.
Right.
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 I'm challenging myself in new ways. I've been going to different types of events, different industry stuff. I'm doing a lot on marketing.
Mm-hmm.
I challenged myself and wrote a book. That was hard as shit,
Yeah.
especially if you know my background and my lack of fucking knowledge and big words. And it just, that was a hard challenge for me.
Yeah.
Um, and then I'm trying to also go like, dude, there are some people, I'm not dumb enough to believe that there aren't people in my group that go, he's that size because of us.
Mm.
So some part of in me is going, fuck you, watch me.
Mhm.
Hence the build it again thing.
Yeah. 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 Yes.
I mean,
I see that. I see that. Yeah.
yeah. Because the reality is I did that to my upline.
Yeah.
So why would I not think someone does it to me? Because I did it to them.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So I don't know, dude. It's a journey. I try to study. I try to read when I can. I try to get out of my comfort zone. 2025 has been a big personal year for me. I stopped drinking. I haven't had
Yeah.
a drink of alcohol since last December, which I don't know that I was a bad alcoholic compared to people who are. Like I don't have that story, but I've drank my whole life,
Mm-hmm.
And when I was frustrated with life, I'd definitely go and get some vodka because it definitely
Yeah.
helped.
Yeah. Oh,
So I gave up that. I've been on a fitness journey. I've lost 30 pounds in the last 12 months, and I wasn't that big a dude to begin with, but
right.
I'm getting pretty fucking ripped now. You know what I
Right.
mean? So I'm challenging myself physically. I've done 10 long ultra endurance events this year, just to challenge me and what I think I can go achieve and attain in life. And getting around people like that, man, stretches my vision too.
No doubt.
Yeah, I was at an event with Jesse Itzer last week, climbing some event, and this dude, Colin O'Brady, if y'all don't know him, Google him. He does like world record crazy shit.
Mm-hmm.
I'm hiking a mountain with this guy. And again, I think I'm a dipshit relative to him, but the people in my circle think I'm him relative to them. That's that levels thing again,
Yes. Yes. Yes.
And I'm like, dude, I'm just trying to survive. He's
Yeah.
gonna
Uh,
he's gonna do cartwheels up on
yeah.
this.
That's what I'm coming to realize, man, with a lot of things that you've explained is that like you always paying homage to someone who's like taught you to be in the position that you're in, man. I feel like that's what's, really contributed to your success overall. Like that's a common theme in all the questions that are being asked. You
Yeah.
keep paying homage back to like someone who's helped you get to that position or someone who you've even taught get to a similar position, right?
I try to
So
be a student, man. I'm very
yeah,
curious.
yeah.
I want to know how people, because here's what I have that most don't. I'll tell you straight up.
Mm-hmm.
I believe I can do anything you can do.
Mm-hmm.
I just do. I just don't think Harold can sell 1 million a year, dude. I love him. I just don't think I can't do it if I put the time, energy, and effort he puts in. I just, I just think I can too. Now, I'm gonna have to ask him some questions because I don't have the skill set he has.
Mm-hmm.
Right? But if he's willing to share what he does, which I know he does,
Mm-hmm.
right? I hear his shit all the time.
Mm-hmm.
If he's willing to share with me how he does it, how twisted it would it be to not believe I can do it too?
Yeah.
But most people in here don't believe they can do it.
Yeah.
So I'm like, how do we work on that?
Hmm.
Work on that me by saying, I swear to God, I'm a fucking moron.
Hmm.
I mess up a lot in life. But when they said this is just work hard and don't get offended when people hang up on you or cancel policies or quit you, just keep going and it'll work. When Sean said, I was like, got it.
Hmm.
Okay. If that's the direction, I'm your guy. I'll follow direction really well.
Hmm.
And so that's been a path for me, dude. Is like, I'm not smart enough to create something or invent something, or I'm not that guy, dude.
Yeah.
If you go, here's the path, I don't care what, I'll run through it. If you ran through it, I'll run through it.
There you go.
You
Respect
know,
that.
and I want to be able to give that to more people, which is why I share the way I share, because everything I've done, I've learned, bro. I didn't, and sure, I add my own flavor and my own flair, and I have a lot of training videos that people have learned how to sell,
Yeah.
from my stuff over the years. I certainly, I'm not ignorant to all those things,
But,
but I did have to learn those things and reps. There's a lot of reps and blood, sweat, and tears behind those trainings. Y'all see, I didn't roll out of the womb with
no
that skill
doubt.
set.
No doubt.
You know?
Born on fire. Yeah, that's for sure. Well, I want to kind of open this up. I know you're talking about giving back to people. I want to open it up if you have a little bit more time, maybe 10 minutes if that's okay. Sort
I'm
of
good.
give everyone else the opportunity to ask,
Yeah, please.
some questions. We made sure that everyone has like, paper, pen ready, taking notes. So this was a special one. And I do greatly appreciate you for, joining us today